Sup everybody, Ben the Blur here today, bringing you LEGO Transformers Slickshot. So here we have Slickshot in his Cybertronian motorcycle mode, and wow, like, just look at this guy. Obviously, he is pretty damn huge for a motorcycle, but when you compare him to like a minifigure, for example, or another LEGO Transformer in robot mode, he actually looks pretty, size accurate. But obviously, for a motorcycle compared to other LEGO Transformers vehicle modes, he is ridiculously big. But, you just use your imagination and just pretend, hey, it's not like mass shifting is unheard of in the LEGO Transformers universe, is it? So, Slickshot originally was a character that I came up with many years ago. And I didn't exactly know how. I really wanted to make a LEGO Transformer out of him, but I never quite figured out how to do it. Plus, I found it very difficult to not only just make Earth-based vehicle mode like LEGO Transformers, but even just a Cybertronian motorcycle was very difficult. But I think this looks pretty good. His main colour scheme is this dark green with a lot of dark grey and light grey with a little bit of black elements scattered throughout him, and I think he looks pretty cool. He does actually have rollable wheels, so you can roll him, just like that, which is very nice. But he is very side and top heavy, so as you can see, he's just wobbling about by himself. And literally just the smallest little tap will push him over, which is a bit of a bummer, but I still really like him. He has these like wheel guard armors here, he has this back seat right here, this is his engine and his thruster for his motorcycle. He's got these little handlebars here, pistons here, gears, and this almost looks like a chassis for the motorcycle, which I think is pretty unique. For a quick size comparison, here he is standing next to a LEGO minifigure. Here he is compared to another fellow LEGO Autobot, Flash Drive, and obviously, as you can tell, the size is completely off. This is either a really small race car or a really huge motorcycle. So yeah. But his transformation is definitely one of my favourite parts about him because it's so cool and complex. So, I think without further ado, let's get onto it. So, to transform Slickshot, first things first, what we're going to do is we're actually going to come here, down to this whole front, under assembly, and we're going to bring it all the way along, just to about here. Now what we're going to do is this front guard for the wheel, we're going to take off, pull this robot claw along and set that off to the side. Now we're going to come to the back and do the exact same with this whole assembly. This whole assembly is of course just going to do the exact same, where we pull this little blade out of this little engine thruster, which is going to become a gun, and he's got obviously some little swords to use. And then this is the main robot. Now we're just going to push the whole thing to the front of the vehicle just like this, to get everything out of the way. Now what we're going to do is this whole upper assembly here, we're going to pull along, up and over, and do the exact same with the headpiece. Next, these handlebars we're going to poke and push all the way in just to give him a nice little, texture to his chest plate, or what will become his chest plate. And the next thing we're going to do is this whole assembly here on the sides, we're going to swing out and back just to get them out the way so that we can work on the legs. Now we're going to bring this back down, and it doesn't matter which way you do this, but you simply just rotate the waist just like that, like there. He's very big and he has a very stretched out transformation, but I think it's pretty cool. Now what we're going to do is we're going to bend these headlight bricks at sort of like a 45/30 degree angle, and then these panels these one by one with the little bar piece, the curved studs with the bars, we're going to rotate at an angle, bring the wheel assembly forward at the clip, rotate them off to the side. Then these wheel guard panels are going to pull backwards, and these will become his heels in robot mode. Obviously, situate everything to how you want it, and do the exact same to the other side. Just like that. This gives him a nice sort of, you know, formed legs, and I think that's pretty cool. And of course he can stand up perfectly fine on his own. Now what we're going to do is we're going to come to the arms. So we're going to bring these assemblies forward, bring this assembly down, rotate them at the bicep, bring them up at the elbow, and rotate them down at the shoulder. Let me just bring this up slightly. Do the exact same. Bring it forward, bring it down, bring this down, rotate it at the bicep, and pull up the elbow, or the arm at the elbow. And then finally, these panels here, we're just going to flip around to the back. And stand there. And there you have it. There is Slickshot in his robot mode. So Slickshot's robot mode is really, really cool. I really like this design on him. He has a really lot of nice shape and texture to him. He's got these curved shoulders. We've also curved forearms as well, with these cheese slope pieces, and then the upside down roof tiles. Obviously his legs and his waist have a completely different texture and shape to them. He's got the curved hips, and then all of these black 1x1 flat studs will sort of look like become pistons, and then I like how the wheels become his feet, and then he's got the wheel guards that become his heels. The handlebars sit nicely in his chest plate, and he's got a nice, just bright green 1x1 studded eye. And even from the back, he's not actually that bad to look at. He does have a little bit of gapping in here, but that's okay. I would have put flat 1x1 like tiles here, but the only problem I would have when doing that is when he's in vehicle mode, these sit perfectly flush, like in this little gap right here. And if they had those, they wouldn't fit really like nice and snug, and they'd be sort of, instead of being straight, they'd be slightly curved, and that wouldn't be preferred in his vehicle mode. So I've left that empty for now, which is fine. Now for his, obviously because of his transformation, he's really well articulated. His head can look side to side and move up and down on the clip that it's on. His arms can go in and out at this hinge. They can move up and down at this inner hinge. They can go 360 all the way around. He's got bicep swivel. He's got hinged elbows. He's got a waist crunch, an ab crunch. He's got waist rotation. His legs go forward and backwards. They also swing in and out at the hips. He's got hinged knees, and he's got a knee rotation as well. And of course, finally, you can position the heels however you damn want. For a quick size comparison, here he is compared to Terra, another bright, colourful Autobot. And as you can see, they look pretty cool together, I guess. Here he is compared to a Lego minifigure, which this size ratio does sort of seem a bit more accurate. And finally, here he is compared to his commanding officer, the big boss, Talos Prime. And I think these two look really cool together. These two characters were characters that I came up with so long ago. The cousin, distant relative of Optimus Prime, who's slightly shorter than him, but who wants to basically be like him, who has the power of, you know, solar energy. And then Slickshot, who turns into a motorcycle. And I think the colour schemes suit each other really well. They have a lot of light grey and black scattered throughout them. And he obviously has red and blue, and he has dark green and dark grey as well. And I think they complement each other really well. Now, like all my other LEGO Transformers, how they have unique abilities and powers, he doesn't necessarily have an actual power or ability. You know, like how Flash Drive has super speed, Pyro Wing had fire, Hydro Blast had the power of water, and even Thunder Spear, who has the power of lightning and electricity. But you could take all these accessories. You can obviously peg, you know, his gun on his back in that center stud gap, and you can actually attach all of his weapons. So you can plug his sword in here, this sword in here, and fold it down so you can plug it into the side of his gun. And you can even, one thing I quite like is having this smaller sword in here and then folding this robot claw down, and then it almost seems like this whole assembly becomes a backpack, and I think that's pretty cool. But one thing you can do is, if you can see, his arms aren't exactly symmetrical, they aren't mirrored. One arm has this dark green jumper plate on the left, right here, and this arm has a quarter tile piece with binoculars. The idea is that you can take this gun, just like this, plug this into this arm to give him a little, you know, like, just to give him a little rifle. But then you can also take his swords and you can place them in his arms, in his hands, sorry. So he has dual wielding cutlasses, which I think is pretty cool. But then you have his final ability. With his special unique ability, you can take off this lightsaber hilt and plug each sword in one end, just like that, and it gives him a double-sided sword. You can obviously plug this into this arm, and I think that is pretty damn unique. I think that's pretty cool. He has this big double-bladed sword, and he has this tiny little gun on the side. He also has this tiny little, you know, this binocular piece was meant to represent, you know, like an exhaust pipe or something in vehicle mode, but it could also be used as just like a little blaster or taser. And I think him and Thunder Spear, when they stand next to each other, they do look pretty cool together. Let's actually flip these two around. Thunder Spear can go on the left, Slickshot can go on the right. And these two look pretty cool together. So thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to like and comment any suggestions you have. Subscribe if you want to see more. And I shall see you next time, guys. So thank you very much for watching. Peace out.